You know, cookies make everything better. Chocolate cookies, even better still. Chocolate cookies and coffee, it doesn't get any better than that. Hey, welcome! It's Friday, December 12th, 2008, and this is WFTL Bytes, your occasiodaily FOSS and Linux news show with your host, me, Marcel Gagné. Welcome! You know, before I begin today, I'm going to talk to you about someone who might be a villain, who might be a hero. Ever heard of Robin Hood? Hey, it's my press hat for the day, my Robin Hood press hat. And the reason I'm wearing my Robin Hood press hat is because that is the question. Evil or not evil? It depends on who you talk to. What about Cisco systems? Evil or not evil? Well, I guess it depends on who you talk to there too. Did you know that the Free Software Foundation has launched a copyright infringement lawsuit against Cisco systems for violations against the GPL and the LGPL? Well, over at the Linux Journal, Glenn Moody reports on what the lawsuit is all about and the claims that are being made and how Cisco is responding. By the way, Cisco says they are disappointed. Cisco points out that they are one of the leading developers, or one of the leading contributors, rather, to the Linux kernel, although there is one blogger out there who says that he's responsible for about 90% of all the contributions from Cisco. But Glenn Moody is asking the question, well, are they doing something really wrong, or is it just that they've overlooked something? Is it possible that one hand really isn't paying attention to what the other hand is doing? Is it just a question of mismanagement? Are they perhaps taking advantage of a situation and then fixing things up as they go along? There are a lot of open questions out there, and of course a lot of different sites are covering it. If you check the links at the bottom, you can read the article by Glenn Moody, and you can also check out the original link to the Free Software Foundation's lawsuit and what it entails. This is a story we're going to be following over the next little while. It should be quite interesting. By the way, Cisco has been cozying up to the open source community. They recently launched a contest for $100,000 in cash and prizes to entice open source developers to create applications for their new platform. So, definitely be watching this one. Over at Information Week, you might remember that about a week ago or something like that, IBM announced that they were getting into the open source business desktop. They were going to be partnering with Canonical and producing a business desktop which comprised not only of Canonical but thin clients, Linux thin clients over a network, and using a number of open source applications, including of course their own Symphony suite. Now, HP has decided to get into the Linux business desktop marketplace as well. And they're going to be concentrating, however, on the education marketplace. They have a system which is going to be running SUSE Linux Enterprise Desktop, or SLED if you prefer. And it too will come with a host of open source applications, including, of course, OpenOffice.org and a whole whack of other things. Now, I found this article interesting because of a couple of words that are sort of hidden in there. They point out that HP is doing this at a time when, quote, Microsoft is vulnerable. That vulnerability, by the way, comes because businesses are reluctant to upgrade to Microsoft Vista, which has been, by and large, a bit of a failure. And of course, companies are trying to avoid it as much as possible, perhaps waiting for the next big thing from Microsoft. We'll have to wait and see there. By the way, OS News has a story about a different kind of marketplace, and that is the notebook, netbook specifically marketplace. You know, netbooks are hot. Well, notebooks apparently are not. When you compare notebook sales against netbook sales, and of course netbooks are basically just little notebooks, netbook sales are going. Notebook sales are kind of going. I'm not saying they're in a free fall, but they're just not doing all that great. Now that's fascinating because about a week or two ago, Intel was speculating that they thought maybe netbooks weren't all they were cracked up to be. They were rethinking their position on netbooks, and you kind of have to wonder if netbooks are so hot, why they would be thinking such a thing. Anyway, ASUS has reported quarter-over-quarter growth, 2007 to 2008, of 160% increase. 160%, think about that. Acer, almost 70%. That would seem to imply that netbooks really are the sorts of things that people are looking for. They're not just a fad. I think I need a netbook. I want a netbook. Not entirely sure what I'll do with one, but I need one. Hey, did you know that the greatest multimedia player in the entire universe is Amarok? Yes, it is. And now Amarok has released version 2.0 of their flagship player. Well, actually, given that it's their only player, I guess it is their flagship player. But anyway, Amarok really is a totally fantastic music player. Now, this is a completely redesigned, completely re-engineered version of the Amarok player. And it's built around the KDE 4.x Linux desktop environment, and of course the Qt toolset or Qt toolset that comes with it. Linux.com has an interesting review of it, and of course KDE.news, or sorry, the KDE.news site reports on it initially, but the Linux.com review is something you should check out. They have both good and bad news associated with it. Probably the worst thing as far as they're concerned is the fact that it is completely redesigned. People are looking at it going, geez, I'm not really entirely sure where to start with this. I don't know what to do with this. But all in all, apparently it is a very positive experience. I know I've been running the beta version for quite some time, and I like it. I like where it's going. I like some of the things they're doing. You should check it out yourself. Some tight integration with various music services like Jamendo, Magnatune, Last.fm and so forth, Shoutcast. It keeps getting better all the time as far as what the player is able to do. Do you remember in the last WFTL Bytes I told you about a teacher who noticed that there was a student doing demonstrations of Linux desktop and handing out live CDs, and she confiscated it and contacted Mr. Ken Starks over at his website and told him that if there was something illegal going on, which she personally thought there was, she would bring down the full weight of the law upon him. Well, apparently she's rethought her position. Yes, Mr. Starks has been in communication with the teacher, who we now learn her name is Karen, and apparently Karen is now very impressed to discover all the things that are happening in the Linux and FOSS community and the development work that's been going into the Linux desktop. In fact, are you ready for this? Mr. Starks is going to be installing Linux on her computer, and she's going to be checking it out, and she's going to be running it. What next, I wonder? Is this a match made in heaven? I don't know. That's another story that we're going to have to be following. And on that note, I think I'm pretty much going to wrap it up right here. I have a cookie to get to, and I have some coffee. So I'll talk to you later. Bye. No, really. Bye.